Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video, I wanted to hit a topic that I think people may have some strong feelings on, so let's try to keep an open mind and be kind to each other while we have this discussion. Destiny 2, in its current form, is dramatically different from what it was when the game launched. We now have special weapons and ammo, as opposed to the original kinetic and energy system. Subclasses have had a huge overhaul, leaning more heavily into the space magic appeal of Destiny, and weapon designs and perks have gotten increasingly more unique, innovative, and powerful. Overall, I still firmly believe that these changes over time have been needed to a certain degree and have brought the magic back to the game as a whole. And I think, quite honestly, that as far as PvP is concerned, we're in a pretty solid season overall, but there are some things that are beginning to concern me. That's what I'd like to talk about in this video. So let's hit those concerns. Now, please remember that, as I said, I'm mostly happy with the changes that we've had over time, and I like where we're at right now. I would never go back to year one Destiny 2. That is not my aim. But I'd love to tweak some of the things that stand out to me right now. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is auto rifles. Right now, 600 RPM autos are on top. And this isn't like they're finally just, they finally just edged out hand cannons and are meta now. It's not that. It's more like autos came over, to the hand cannon frat house and kicked the door down, threw tear gas inside, and then forcibly evicted them with extreme prejudice and tossed them in a cart and rolled them down the street and took over the place. Look at the numbers, guys. Look at these numbers. It's absolutely mind-blowing how dominant autos are right now in the meta. We're talking almost a 40% usage rate. 40% is literally unprecedented. If that number does not concern you at all, it should. That's a weapon bias in the sandbox that basically makes the choice for you. It makes the choice for the player. And I'm never an advocate for anything that takes the power of choice away from the player and tries to force you into a mold. I know there's always going to be a meta. There's always going to be a meta, but it can't be so disparagingly, drastically better than everything else that it makes the choice for you. And right now, I feel like that's where we're at with auto rifles, and the usage rate reflects that. So the question is then, why? Why are autos so unbelievably high in the usage rate department across all playlists in PvP? The answer is simple. With the auto rifle damage buffs, the perks, and even the perk buffs that auto rifles, auto perks receive, like dynamic sway reduction, autos right now, they award the most optimal TTKs in the game for primary weapons, while also holding the hand of the user, in my opinion. They are both very powerful and very easy to use, right? That's an interesting combination. We're going to spend some time unpacking that. They are both very powerful and very easy to use. They are also very forgiving. If your accuracy is bad and your recoil control is bad, in other words, they've removed the need to be good with a gun in order to secure kills at optimal TTK values. Now, auto rifles have always, by design, followed the mantra of we are going to be approachable. Since they're Destiny 1 launch versions, they're supposed to be easier to use and be approachable for less talented players. And that's fine. We were happy with that. We don't mind that. We want guns that are approachable for people of all skill levels so that they can compete and have fun in the Crucible. But you never, anywhere, in anything in life, want to make the most approachable and the most forgiving thing also be the most effective thing. Autos right now, they gain stability and remove recoil simply because you're holding the trigger down. Okay, there's a lot of perks there. So there's no incentive to try to improve your recoil control on your own. On top of that, you can hit mostly body shots and still outdamage a scout rifle, hand cannon, pulse rifle that is hitting exclusively headshots, by the way. And this is where the problem lies. Why would a player use a weapon that you have to control recoil, pace your shots, and have perfect accuracy with in order to reach an optimal TTK that competes with a weapon that requires little to no recoil control, is fully automatic, so it requires no pacing, and doesn't even require you to be accurate and hit mostly crits to put you down at the same TTK or even a better TTK? The answer is you wouldn't. And there's the exact reason why autos are so incredibly dominant in the usage department right now. The bottom line is this: autos in their current form have removed the need to be good with a gun in order to reach optimal TTK values. So there's no need for a player to want to try to get better with their gun skill, and there's no real incentive for a player to use something that requires a little bit more precision and pacing if it's just going to mean they can compete with an auto rifle only when they are performing at their best, while the auto rifle user can compete with them even when they're playing pretty mediocre, right? Now, with all of that said, we have to ask the question, okay, so what do we do with them? Does TV want autos to be irrelevant again so he can just stomp people with his elite hand cannons again? No thanks. No. That's not what we want. We want auto rifles to be relevant. And honestly, they most certainly needed a buff. I'm glad they got a buff. But the buffs they received were numerous and dramatic. I would suggest it might be good for the game if we allowed them to remain easy to use like they are right now, but also bring down the body shot damage and range so that they aren't awarding inaccuracy and making precision-based weapons and gun skill irrelevant. That's literally it. That's all we want. Let's bring the time it requires to secure a kill with an auto if you're not hitting crits. Let's bring that TTK up a little bit so it takes a little more time. I'd be happy to start there and just see where that gets us. You know, gradual changes are good, I think. So that's kind of where I'm at with auto rifles. All right, let's move on. Next, I want to tackle something that I don't hear a lot of people chatting about. I want to chat about super generating mods on class mark armor. Right now, it's a no-brainer. If you're in PvP, you're going to be running double light reactor or double remote connection, right? You're looking to get free super energy on your special weapon kills. That's having some poor effects on the sandbox, I think. First and foremost, there are no similar perks on class mark armor that help you generate extra super energy on primary weapon kills of any kind. This means running double primaries is deliberately handicapping your super energy generation and is really hurting that approach to PvP in endgame environments like trials and survival. People know by now that supers win games, and having a super up first is hugely important for winning matches. This is even further incentivizing camping with revokers in trials and just waiting for a shot to present itself while running high intellect. So a couple of thoughts here. I think we need a both or neither approach here. If you're gonna have remote connection and the others exist in their current form, then you need to have a primary version of those perks as well. I would even be happy to say that they can be dialed down a little in terms of the super energy, primary ones generate. I don't care as long as they exist, right? And I'd be happy to say that you can't stack them as well. But if we aren't going to add the primary versions of those perks in, then I think we need to do away with the special ones in PvP. It's simple to me. They need to be available for all weapon types or none at all. When given the choice between more super energy and less energy, players are always, well, at least on the high end of the skill gap, they're always going to choose more almost every time. And ultimately, that means fewer duels requiring solid gun skill and more super usage in matches as well. This also takes me to another topic. I think we could reimagine how intellect works. Right now, intellect dictates your super generation rate, your flat generation rate. The higher your intellect, the faster you'll get your super when you're doing absolutely nothing at all. Because of this, it's very popular to avoid gunfights in endgame PvP environments and run high intellect to generate supers before the other team. This removes gunfights from our first-person shooter. I don't think it's a good thing, honestly. I would be open to considering some alternatives to intellect, such as potentially making intellect instead dictate how much super energy you generate for a few seconds after getting a kill. Like when you get a kill, that's when your intellect value kicks in, and it dictates how much energy you generate for the next few seconds after you get a kill. And maybe making everyone have the same resting super energy generation rate across the board. So, in other words, everyone, regardless of intellect, would build super energy at the exact same rate. The only way to accelerate that rate would be to get kills and have high intellect dictate how much energy you're getting for those kills, and not necessarily kills, but just, you know, the assists as well, the eliminations, right? That might be a decent place to start. I know it's not a perfect solution, but it's a thought, and maybe one to consider. Again, high intellect builds are leading to more camping and less shooting in endgame PvP environments, and I think that's a problem. The last idea I want to visit in this video is this idea that there are just too many things that tell the player, that's close enough, and awards a kill. I would argue that snipers can be this way, and I'm saying that as a sniper main. There are times when it feels like the sniper is just saying, yeah, that looks close enough, and it gives me a kill, when I know in my heart of hearts that was not a precision hit. There are other times when I'm getting shot by someone who's using their primary, and they did everything right? Maybe they pre-fired, or they got shots on me first. They saw me, reacted quicker than I did, and they got shots on me first. So I'm taking damage to their primary, and for some reason the game decides to pull my reticle to their head on its own in the middle of that flinch and lands a precision hit under duress that, frankly, I never should have hit. We may want to explore why the game flinches towards crit zones instead of away. Snipers, I believe, connect through flinch far more often than they should. And Arbalest is another one, right? It does the same thing, and it has the aim assist. I mean, the aim assist on that thing is through the roof. Mountaintop is another one that says, dang, you missed that guy. But, you know what, let's call it good enough, and gives you a kill. Luckily, it's getting sunset, but it still will have a place in the standard PvP, so it could still be a bit of a menace. But there's too many things out there right now that just say, close enough, and award kills. And I think that's another thing that's taking gun skill, diminishing the value of genuine gun skill in Destiny, in our first-person shooter. All of these things that we've talked about in this video, they stockpile on top of each other to lead to what we currently have in the meta today. I feel as though gun skill is at an all-time low right now in terms of importance. I think it's probably tertiary at this point, and I don't really like that. And maybe I'm in the minority here. I cannot speak for everybody. I know that I don't speak for everybody who views these videos, so please feel free to give some feedback. Personally, I want Destiny to be approachable for all people of all skill levels, but I don't want the game to hold my hand. I want it to incentivize me to continue to push harder, to get better at recoil management, to get better at pacing, and even my shot accuracy. I think that's important. We need to have the option to get better and have it count for something. Otherwise, more players will hit that very low skill ceiling and get bored and leave. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't want that for the game. So I hope you found this video entertaining. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching it. Please consider offering your thoughts and your feedback down below in the comments section for me to read through. And if you're ever placing an order for some gamer subs, which I think is both delicious and helpful for my afternoon pick-me-ups, then consider using my discount code Vanguard and get a nice discount for you and a little kickback for me. So thanks for watching. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye.